Welcome to a new video for the channel. Today I thought I'd do a bit of a blending one. As this colour is sort of like a silvery blue, I'm going to do a bit of colour blends and sort of like a blending video. And also we've got a new bumper which is over there. It's just bare plastic, so I thought I'd show you a start to finish with a bit of plastic primer. Plastic primer I've got is a wow one, so wet and wet, but I'll have it's a bit of like, instead of the extra hardness, it's got like a plastic adhesive in, so that will help the paint stick to the actual bumper and not flake off in time. So we'll do that now. I've just blown and tacked it all off, so she's pretty much ready to go. So as you can see, it's just a standard plastic bumper. So what I want to do is, with the wet and wet, you want to put it on as if how you want it to look. So you have to put it on wet, a bit like lacquer. So if you put it on like a wet finish, it will dry smooth. You'll put your base coat over, no problems. But if you start putting it a bit dry or really peely, that's how your base coat is going to lay on. So you want it as smooth as possible. Take your time, make sure you get all the edges, because this is what's going to seal this plastic and make sure everything sticks and goes on the layers properly and sticks together. That's pretty much it. You can use, I mean, it's not advisable, but some people use like a 1K, which is just out of a can, which you can spray on, which you can do, but sometimes they're a bit, it depends on what makes you get. We always put it in the wet and wet that we use, because it sort of, it gives it like a bit of a primer surface, plus it gives it that adhesive so it sticks to it. And then, because what sometimes, which I found with the 1K one, you'd do the 1K, let it dry, and sometimes when you based it up, it sort of would ring around certain bits. It would like have like a bit of a reaction. So we're using this with the wet and wet. That sort of eliminates any of that. You're pretty much putting the primer on, so it's like a primed bumper. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. So what I normally do is I do my edges and do one full coat and just do my edges as I'm going along and across. So I always section it out. So here I will go under and up and round and back bit, and then go across. Then I would find a section that I'm happy with to stop, and then I would come round, do this side. I'll show you how I do it, and then yeah, hopefully it helps. So see as how I am doing it is making it nice and wet. I don't want a dry edge, because it will show in the base coat if it's not done there wet enough or good enough really. Always these little bits are bloody annoying. So again, here I'm doing the edges on this back bit. Sometimes I go over, because if it saves me going right round, it's just there. Just remember once it's done. But it all comes in with practice and experience. The more you do, the more you understand where you prefer to stop and what's better for you to stop where. The amount of times I've changed how to do a bumper, I've gone from side to side, and I've gone from down, up. Sometimes it does depend on what bumper you're doing as well. There's some bumpers like really long ones, like Mercedes, or sometimes Jags, like they're quite long, like rear bumpers and things. They will, they're quite hard to see how you're doing it. I did see there's a couple of bits of dirt in that side. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you'll be able to see it. There's a couple of bits, but what we do is we let this fully dry. I wasn't going to put some on this repair, but as I've got it in the gun, just to be sure, so I'm just going to do it literally sort of like where the primer is and flick, and then what I will do is on that edge we've got a Standox Blend Plus. So all that is just like a thinned out, like a blender sort of thing, and all you'll do is you just fade that edge on that dry edge of the primer. That will just flow straight in nicely. So all you gotta do is just go to the edge. Try not to flick because you don't want it across the door. Sometimes I try and angle it. So all my overspray is going that way, not that way. If you start going that way, obviously you're going to have grey overspray, and then you're going to have to either wipe it off or flat it or colour right to the edge, which we don't want to do. So same again, just nice and wet. And while it's wet, you just fade that edge, so you sort of go past the edge and into the panel, and then as you can see, it's nice and wet. And then what that will do is once that's dried, that won't feel anything, so it'll be all nice and smooth, a bit like the base coat. And that is pretty much it for now. So what we do, we let that dry, maybe about 10 minutes. Or maybe I'll put it on bake for 5 minutes so, and then we should be able to give it a little flat with like 1,000, nothing too coarse because you don't want it to scratch it and yeah, make it all scratchy for your base coat. Especially these colours, these sort of silvery blues are a pain in the arse because you think they're just blue, but they got that, they seem to act like a silver. So you can get like patchiness and scratches will show really easy. Yeah, so just be wary of these sort of colours. This and golds, I hate bloody silvery golds. They're a pain in the arse. They just, yeah, they're a bit like silvers. But we work with what we got. So we do this, we let this dry, and then we'll get some base coat in. Alright, okay guys, so I told you I was going to flat this. So this is 1,000, and I think I had it. Bear with me, there's a bit. There it is. I'll try and find it on the camera, hang on. So see this bit here, and there's a bit there as well. So all you have to do is, where this is dry now, so back you up a little bit. So see it's starting to come. It's so hard with the camera, but there's a little bit of shit there. So all I've done is giving it a little flat. Make sure with this wet and wear, you've got to make sure it's dry. Otherwise it will just rip and then you come into all sorts of problems. So just take your time, don't rush it. Just a bit there. Okay, so that's all good now. So what we do is we'll blow this off, tack rag it, and she's pretty much ready for base coat, really. I do normally do colour blend all through one gun, but I got a bit ahead of myself and put it in my base coat gun already. So I just got the other gun to put it through, and then my other gun will be the base coat with the colour in. So yeah, try and do it through one gun, saves you having to wash a gun. Yeah, but never mind. So this is the colour blend in here. It's just like a clear, it won't change the colour. So I always go, so what I tend to do, so where my colour is going to be here. So I'm going to literally use this colour blend up to just before it. So when I come to my colour, I will flick and it will meet that wet edge. You have to get your colour edge to that edge and make it wet. If you've got a gap and it's a bit dry, you'll see it in the colour base coat, like the metallics won't sit right. So yeah, just make sure whenever you do it, make sure you got a wet, you follow into the actual colour blend, because otherwise I had it on a gold one a few weeks ago where it didn't quite meet on one of the top of the wings, and you got it outside, you could just see it slightly, but yeah, lessons learned. So all it is that 2 bar, this is just a 1.2, this one, SATA, and so yeah, I'll go straight wet, and then I'll grab my colour gun and go straight into it straight away. So see how I am, I'm just going straight into it where I would stop, where my colour would be. We'll do a bit up here just in case it goes going up there. Helps if you haven't got at pressure. So yeah, just do your edges, just like that, and go straight into that colour blend. And dropping out is the same pressure, just a lot slower. You've got to get rid of that edge. Try not to stick it too close to the door, we're all a bit close. So this is pretty much for to get the metallic to lay right, and also to get any blotchiness out and just level this colour. So when it's outside it doesn't look patchy or... So this is a stand-up scheme, so everything goes on pretty much at the same time, wet, and I'll shoot you, put my gun up there where I'm spraying, but don't have time to move that. So, okay, as you can see, I've tried, I mean there is a little bit of overspray on that tape, but the actual blend looks quite good, I think. I'll probably get out my shadow. So once that's dry, let's see if you sort of get to know how it looks. If it looks sort of like that, you get like it's like the same there to there, then you sort of know it's gone in quite a nice transition. There will be a little bit of blotchiness around there, that's just where the colour blend is. But once that's dry, that will actually disappear. Sorry. Right, okay, so now bumper. Same as how we did with the wet and wet. Just do all the edges first and then go over pretty much how you did the wet and wet, really. Depending on how you do bumpers. There's a little black bit there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, just check it over. But when you're basing over wet and wet, do make sure there's no bits of dirt in it over. The worst case you want to do is you've painted it to get it out, to polish it, and then you start flattening, it's a bit of dirt that's on the wet on wet, because obviously it'll come through the colour of your wet on wet. So if it is grey, which this is, then you'll have a grey little dot, and on a blue car it stands out. So yeah, just take care, have a little look around, take your time, and yeah, just double check everything, and if you're happy, then yeah, crack on. Right, let's go. Again, with this colour, you want to make sure it's wet. So when your drop coat goes on top, you want to make sure it's going into a nice wet sort of base coat. Otherwise you'll have all sorts of problems with blotchiness, patchy, and to be fair, the metallics won't sit right either. This paint is designed to all go on wet. You can spray a bit on a bit dry. I mean, if something is a bit patchy, sometimes I drop the pressure to sort of 1.5 and then just sort of float over it a little bit. And it does seem to work, it does seem to cover it well, so you can do it, but then you're obviously building up on the overspray edges, and that's what the only thing I don't really like with this paint is if you don't get it right and you can't get it right, it sort of struggles to go in, it starts to really stand up, and then it starts to get really rough, and then you have to sort of flatten it sometimes. And it can be a bit of a, but it's one of those sort of paints where if it goes nice, then it goes really nice. It goes nice and flat, especially if you're lacquering over. Yeah, it does give you a nice finish to lacquer, but you sort of have got to earn it to get to that stage. You sort of got to really get it right, otherwise it won't have none of it. But with other paints, sort of a bit like Optimal, they're a bit more forgiving. You can sort of like do more top coat than what you could probably do with this. Each paint's different, you just got to try and go with it really and hope for the best sometimes. So that's all done. So as you can see, it's all unified, nice even coat. Yeah, so that's it pretty much. So we're waiting, we'll put this on bake for 10 minutes. So I've just got to do a handle and a thing, but you don't need to see that. So we'll come back, once it's dried, we'll come back and yeah, we'll have a look at it. Right, okay guys, so this is all how it's all dried. It's gone in quite nice, to be fair. It's got a nice sort of equal sheen. It's like a satin finish. That's what you're looking for. This is where, how it looks is pretty much how it's going to be lacquered, and like, once it's lacquered, it's what we're going to show. So if you see anything now is like the last time you can sort of have a go and try and rectify it. I'm going to leave this because I think it looks alright, to be fair. So what we're going to do now is, I've given it a quick blow off before. Now, so this is a lacquer. All this will be is just 2 full coats of, well, one sort of quickish coat and then a full coat after. The cap I'm using is 1.2i, and this is a SATA 5500. My material, I've only got it I've got 2 turns and maybe a quarter out on the material. My fan is fully open, so I might put it in a little bit. Pressure will be at 2 bar, and yeah, first coat will literally be just a nice smooth, quickish, and even like a real thin sort of coat on there. To get a finish, doesn't mean you have to put so much on. Sometimes the least amount. It's all about your sort of setup, really. If you can get it nice and fine coming out of the gun, it's going to go on nice and fine. If it's coming out quite blotchy and sort of heavy, then it's going to look heavy on the panel. Again, it's distance as well. So if I go really close, it's going to, but if I went really close and really quick, you can get like a really fine finish. But if you're like really far away, then it's just going to sit on there, stand up, and you ain't going to get a finished look. So a lot of it is practice. Finding the best way that you find the easiest with, and you're getting a finish. A lot of playing around with the gun is what I've had to do over the years. Even now, when it gets hot, I have to change my settings a bit to when it was cold, because it dries a lot quicker, so you can sort of put a little bit more on. But winter time, obviously, you can't put as much on your first coat as such. So yeah, there's a lot of factors to put into thought, but yeah, have a little practice. But for this one, yeah, I'm just going to go sort of a nice fine coat for first coat, and then a bit heavier on the second coat. Yeah, hopefully this helps. So 2 bar, and I'm going to go maybe sort of like that distance, maybe about, I don't know, 5 inches, 6 inches. Yeah, and to stay at that distance. Just keep it steady. How you started it, you want to try and go the whole way, so then the whole panels are even. You don't want to go slow in one bit, then, because otherwise you could get a bit of a different so that's it really. This isn't the finished coat, so don't try and go for the wow factor. It's a little bit, just try and get a bit peely there. It's a little tiny bit there, the camera doesn't really show it really. But just here, It's sorry, just here it's a little bit peely, but it's a good enough finish for. See there, it's just a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I'd rather it be like that than too heavy, because the second coat you will cover that anyway. So same as how you did the base coat, we'll do the edges and then go over again, same way. Yeah, I try not to change it, because then it becomes repetitive, and then you just do it without even thinking. It just comes naturally then. So with the edges, I wouldn't go too heavy though, because you do not want it to run on the edge, because it will very quickly. So when you are doing the edges, just have a little think about how you're going to do it and how quick, because you will get a bit of a build up. And airlines, bloody airlines. It'd be so good if you didn't have to have airlines. Many times I get caught up. So yeah, when you're doing it, just make sure you're looking at what is facing you, so you can do it while you're there, sort of thing. Again, this is just a quick coat. This is just to get it on sort of even. You don't want it too dry, but I mean, as long as it's sort of slightly peely, then that's awesome. So that's good enough. So now what I normally do, I mean, it's hot at the moment, it's about 25. It's I will probably I'll probably give it 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe, if that. The way to check it I always do is, I mean, to be fair, that's going off quite quick. This is an air dry lacquer, so this will naturally dry quicker than your standard HS lacquers. Right, so that's going sticky already. I'd probably leave that. I'll give it another minute or so actually. That's really gone tacky. Yeah, you want to give that a bit of time to draw out all the solvent, because if you used to plough another one on, it could sort of trap those solvents in. So then when it comes on bake and it cools down, or even in bake, it can sort of, you get like a solvent pot where you'll get like these little pinholes, and that's the solvents that having to go through the top layer to release. So if you try and give this enough time to go on, get most of the solvent out, and then when your second goes on top, it's only a small amount that would actually have to draw out, and it will come through fine. So yeah, if you're never sure, just give it that little bit more time. There's no point rushing. I've done it myself where I've rushed it many times, and you think, why? Like, it's an extra 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and it could save you an hour's worth of polishing. Maybe not an hour, but half hour, an hour polishing, a lot more than what you need to. Especially where I am, the last thing I want to be doing is flattening down a whole panel. I just want to denip a couple of bits, and yeah, that's what I need to do. So try it. Yeah, just take your time. It is impatient. I mean, I'm one of the most impatient painters probably going. Even just standing here for a minute, I feel itchy, and I just want to get the next coat on. But I might as well give this a little bit longer. I mean, all I've ever learned is through. I've never done any like courses or. I mean, I've had to do like courses on like paints and like new scheme, like how to put it on and that. But I haven't gone to like college or university or anything like that. All I've done is just learnt off people, really. Watch them, how they did it, what they did do, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, my mistakes. That is the best way I find to learn, is to sort of, okay, I did that, so that didn't work. Next time I'll try this. I'll go a bit faster, I'll go a bit slower, especially on like lacquer and things. But even now, I'm still learning, especially with like base coat and that. You're still learning. Okay, I should have gone a bit slower and flick it there. So yeah, my best advice is just try and watch people. That's all I ever do, is watch people, see what they do, and yeah, just learn. Even YouTube videos, there's loads out there. There's quite a few people who do this kind of thing. Yeah, just learn. That's all you can do. Take best bits of other people and make it your own, really. Right, I'll stop gabbling on. That's good. So same again, but I'm going to go a bit slower now. Maybe a little bit closer. And yeah, just a bit slower. I'm going to take my time. And yeah, hopefully it comes out nice. So now from my first coat, I shouldn't have to put so much on my second coat, because I put the first coat on really fine, quite a nice fine sort of layer. So this should just be a nice smooth coat that doesn't need to go on too heavy, and it should just flow out on top of that first coat nicely. Hopefully, it's easy said than done. A lot of times I think I've done a lovely job, and then I get it out of the oven, and then I think I was running it, and think, oh, I knew I should have gone so bloody slow on that bit. But at the time, you think you're doing the right thing. So that I'm happy with. So that will move on to the. I don't think you see. To be fair, you don't need to see the second coat on the base on the bumper, so I don't think you can sort of see. It's hard to get the light really, but now it's a bit more of a smoother finish, and yeah,